Hi guys, so today is our day 27 and we are going to start with a new topic, that is 2.2, the nature of society, right? So yesterday we had completed the culture and civilization thing. So today it's nature and society. This is also going to take two lectures, that is today and tomorrow. We'll finish it by tomorrow, and after that very important topics are going to come, that is the marriage, family, then economic anthropology, political anthropology. They are very important chapters. Have it has a lot of weightage in the exam, so that's why. So let's get on with this and just you know. So now, what is a society? Now you need to understand basically the concept of society must have come from the anarchic state that was there when the concept of society came in, right? So just try to understand. हमने बात करी है about the Paleolithic times, about the Mesolithic, the Neolithic, how the evolution of man happened. But very early in their evolutionary times, they understood that the strength of man lies in unity, right? So that unity, that group phenomena is somewhere which led to a full-fledged society over the course of evolution, right? The idea was कि हमको साथ रहना है, साथ रहने से survival increase होता, साथ रहने से they could cooperate and they could fulfill their needs, they could prevent themselves from the predators, they could hunt, they could increase their survival, right? So from that we know that man is a social animal, and to fulfill its needs as a human being, its needs are also social, right? Man's needs are social, right? So those needs, to fulfill those needs, a concept and organization was required, and that was the society. So that is the whole concept of society, if you understand. So now it says it is association of people, right? We understand. Then it organizes activities of people, very important. Now अभी हमने बात करी कि society is a group of people, but if I make 10 people stand at one place, will that be a society? If there is no exchange, if there is no interaction, only 10 people are standing, does that make it a society? No, it doesn't. Society is only when there is interaction, when there is exchange, there is reciprocity, right? And there are activities that those 10 people are doing with each other. Only then that group becomes a society. So that distinction you need to understand. Only association of people is not going to make it a society. Association of people along with certain organized activities and establishment of standardized behavior, that makes a society, right? Standardized behavior means every person is expected to behave in a certain way, deliver a certain role, so that is what a standardized behavior is. For example, in a society there are elders, and their role is to keep the younger generation in check whenever they go out of hand, or whenever they try to deviate from the standardized behavior. They try to bring back the youngsters. So that is the role of elders in a society, right? So that is how a standardized behavior is seen. So I hope you now understand what is a society. So now defining a society. Now whenever we talk about any definition, be it society, culture, civilization, marriage, family, any definition, you must remember one thing, that that definition can never be very inclusive. It will somewhere down the line miss 1 or 2 point, that is for sure. और वहीं पे then the need for new thinkers, new people come in, then they give their own point of view. So basically whatever we are describing, it's our point of view, that we see a certain thing a certain way, right? If for example Leacock is giving a definition of society, it is how he perceives society to be, right? So it is always going to be a perspective, right? So kabhi bhi koi bhi definition can not be wholesome. Yes, it can be very well accepted, it can contain almost all the aspects, but kabhi bhi holistic नहीं होता. इसीलिए हम मल्टीपल पर्सपेक्टिव्स पढ़ते हैं, राइट? दैट इज़ वाई वी रीड 2, 3, 4 डेफिनेशंस टू मेक इट अ मोर होलिस्टिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन आवर माइंड, राइट? सो नाउ डेफिनेशन अगर हम बोले, टैलकॉट पार्सन्स ने दिया था दैट सोसाइटी इज़ अ टोटल कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑफ ह्यूमन रिलेशनशिप्स. That means whatever human relationships that there are, the whole complex of those human relationship is what a society is, according to Parsons. But if we have to talk about how to define a society, there are two viewpoints. There are two viewpoints which will be more wholesome, or rather be more defining of what a society is. So one is the structure and second is the function. Now just try to understand this debate of structuralism and functionalism is also very long, and ये हमारी बहुत अच्छे से cover होगी when we are going to read about in the anthropological theories, the 6th chapter, right? But just try to understand the point of view of structuralism and the point of view of functionalism. Structuralism will define anything, whether it is society, anything. If it defines, it will define based on a structure, you know, उसके structure के base पे वो उसको define करेंगे. Functionalism वाले उसको एक उसके function कि उसकी requirement क्या है, उसके basis पे define करेंगे. So for example, if I draw, this is a school, right? This is a household. This is religious, any religious institution, right? This is any workplace, ठीक है? Any workplace, right? This is a apartment, or whatever you can say, apartments, anything. This all are different institutions, right, in an area. And this is alag society, this is a religious society, this is an educational society, this is a household, this is apartment. But ये सब मिल के भी एक सोसाइटी का पार्ट बन रहे हैं. सो सोसाइटी एक लार्जर पर्सपेक्टिव में भी हो सकती है, एक स्मॉलर पर्सपेक्टिव में आप एक अपार्टमेंट ही देख लो, राइट? अपार्टमेंट्स होते हैं, देर आर डिफरेंट पीपल लिविंग इन द सेम प्लेस, ठीक है? अलग अलग अपार्टमेंट्स में लोग रह रहे हैं. देन कभी फेस्टिवल होएगा तो वो एक अपने कॉमन ग्राउंड में उस फेस्टिवल को सेलिब्रेट करेंगे, राइट? देन देर आर एक्टिविटीज़ दैट टेक प्लेस, किड्स आर प्लेइंग इन द प्ले ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपार्टमेंट्स, राइट? बच्चे खेलते रहते हैं. सो व्हाट इज़ दिस? दिस इज़ अ सोसाइटी ओनली. बड़ी जगह तो फ्लैट्स को सोसाइटीज़ ही बोलते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज देर इज़ एसोसिएशन ऑफ पीपल आर टेकिंग आउट एक्टिविटीज़ टुगेदर, देर इज़ स्टैंडर्डाइज बिहेवियर. दैट इज़ मतलब मान लो अगर आप रात को 12 बजे उस अपार्टमेंट का गेट बंद हो जाता है तो यू विल नॉट कम, आप हॉर्न मारते हुए यू विल नॉट कम हॉन्किंग एंड आप शोर नहीं मचाओगे, बिकॉज देर आर डिफरेंट पीपल लिविंग देयर, लोग सो रहे होते हैं, राइट? सो देर आर सर्टन बिहेवियर. ये हो गई उसका स्ट्रक्चर क्या हो गया कि मतलब मान लो देर इज़ एन इंडिविजुअल से मिलकर बनी है फैमिली से, ग्रुप ऑफ फैमिली से मिलकर एक एरिया की कम्युनिटी बनेगी, उससे मिलकर उनकी एक सोसाइटी बन जाएगी. आप ऐसे कुछ इमेजिन कर लो कि कुछ एक स्ट्रक्चर है, देर इज़ अ स्ट्रक्चर देयर, राइट? बट फंक्शनलिज्म विल से, इट विल नॉट टॉक अबाउट कि वो कैसे बन रही है. इट इज़ नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट. इट इज़ टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हाट इज़ द नीड, व्हाट इज़ द रिक्वायरमेंट, एंड द रिक्वायरमेंट इज़ टू फुलफिल द नीड्स ऑफ द मैन, फुलफिल द नीड्स ऑफ ह्यूमन. बिकॉज फंक्शनलिज्म क्या बोलता है? सोसाइटी बनी होगी टू prevent that anarchy that was there. For example, if you just imagine a world where there are people and everyone can do anything, so it must look like a very utopian idea ki how great is that ultimate freedom, you can do anything. But that freedom is compromised on respect of security, because if you take it on yourself that, oh, I can do anything in this world, but you would realize in some time that, oh, other people can also do whatever they like also. So that means your freedom is compromised on respect of security. For example, any bully, whoever it is, जो जितना बड़ा बुली होगा उस सोसाइटी में, वो उतना ज़्यादा अपनी पावर से उस सोसाइटी को कंट्रोल करेगा, बिकॉज एनीबडी कैन डू एनीथिंग, राइट. बट वो बुली भी कभी ना कभी, यू नो, बिकॉज एक माइनॉरिटी, ही इज़ अ माइनॉरिटी, राइट, ही इज़ वन पर्सन. अगर ज़्यादा सारे लोग मिलकर उसको बुली करेंगे तो ही विल ऑल्सो गेट बुलीड, राइट. सो क्या होता है कि अगर एनार्की है, कोई रूल्स नहीं है, कोई रेगुलेशंस नहीं है, देयर आर नो स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड नॉर्म्स, कुछ भी नहीं है टू कंट्रोल ईच अदर, तो देयर विल बी लाइक you know, wars, there would be like people fighting, murders happening, there'll be theft, there'll be every kind of anarchy that you can believe there can be, right. So ऐसी society को किसी ना किसी रूल्स, किसी ना किसी स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड बिहेवियर की ज़रूरत है, ताकि एक ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वे में रिप्रोडक्शन हो सके, मैरिजेस सोलमनाइज हो सके. देन देयर कुड बी, you know, people living in harmony and peace, there could be peaceful trade happening. So all of these are the needs of human. So that is how two perspective of defining a society has come. One is the structural, second is the functional. I hope you understand some points of it. So structural point of view given by Cooley, Gidding. So they believe that society is a complex organized association, right. It's a association, it's an organized association and interaction between the community. That means there is an association, it is organized, and there are interactions happening within the people. That is what we talked about in the beginning also. So it means that it is a social heritage. Heritage means something which we inherit or we collectively are a part of. So heritage of institutions, ideals, folkways, mores, so whatever there is, and a social heritage of all that, right. So ये क्या बोल रहा है कि कुछ institutions होंगे, educational, religious, political, then there will be ideals, then there will be folkways, all these things, the you know, if you mix all of that, not mix but you know, combine all of that, becomes a social heritage, and that becomes a society, right. Then the functional viewpoint that was given by Leacock, McIver, all of these believed in the functional perspective. That was कि ये मानते थे कि society is not just political relations, it is not कि people are interacting, it's not just that, it is a whole range of human relations and collective activity. So ये मानते हैं कि that human, there should be some reciprocal relationship of men. That means they must be interacting to carry out their life activities, whatever, everything, that be it marriage, be it their profession, be it education, leisure activities, all these are the activities for life which they are doing together in a reciprocal manner to fulfill their wishes, right. So I hope you understood the definitions of it. Next is the characteristics. Now what defines a society, मतलब what are the features of a society. हमने कल भी पढ़े थे, जैसे culture के भी we read that culture is dynamic, culture is ideational, culture is super organic, culture is, you know, all of that. Similarly, society is also a web of social relationships. That means till the time people are not interacting, there are not relationships being built, people are not you know, reciprocating with each other, there is no society. 10 people, 100 people, 1000 people together doesn't make a society till the time they are not interacting, they are not communicating, they are not taking out organized activities together. So it is a web of social relationship, and this is said by McIver, right. Then it says society means likeness. Obviously society can only be made by like-minded people. If you say there are people who have a different mindset, you can never create a society with them, because eventually then it will disintegrate. For example, any separatist, extremist ideas by people will disintegrate the society, right? It is not ever be going to create a harmony within the society. So it means likeness, but it also means differences. That means though, like I've said, separatist tendencies, extremist tendencies, but they are very like extreme terms to use. But that doesn't mean you cannot have a difference of opinion in a regular life also. That means society is, for example, made up of 100 people, but they are 100 brains also, na. So everybody cannot think alike. There they might be agreeing to a broad vision of like harmony, peace, togetherness, uh, happiness, but then also there are differences in the mindsets. There are differences as to how people think and perceive things. So difference is diversity, but it doesn't mean that this diversity cannot have a broad vision of likeness, like of a similar vision. For example, Indians जितने मर्जी एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट हों, बट वी चेरिश आर सेक्युलर nature, right? We celebrate the diversity in our country. We celebrate helping people. So broadly we are similar people, but then there is diversity of religion, diversity of cultures. We are a heterogenic mix, right? Then interdependence. Obviously मैंने बोला ही है, अगर ये 100 लोग एक दूसरे से interact कर रहे हैं, that means everybody is fulfilling each other's some need or the other, and that creates a interdependence. So now you cannot tell in black and white कि पहले क्या हुआ, interdependence पहले हुई या society पहले आई, because in any which ways whenever the humans start to interact with each other, there will become a society, and that society will in turn create interdependence on each other, right? Then cooperation. Obviously till the time they do not cooperate, that society cannot stay together. It will disintegrate the moment cooperation is not there, right? But it is crossed by conflict. Again ये वही बात आ गई कि cooperation will be there, but healthy conflicts can be there, right? There could be difference of opinion, there could be people not agreeing to each other, right? But that should not altogether disintegrate the society. And then it is permanent and dynamic. जैसे हमने culture की भी बात की थी, though it was created by humans, but it went on to become super organic. That means it outlived the humans itself. Similarly, societies are also like that. People will come and go, but the societies will stay. They are permanent, yet they are dynamic, because societies also adapt to newer things, right? For example, traditional societies were different. They were rural based, agriculturally dominated. Women were made lesser a part of the political activities, but today's societies have become more egalitarian. Women are commanding important roles in the society. Societies are more manufacturing, industrialized, all of that, you understand, right? So now relationship of man and society. Now हम शुरू से ही बात करें कि man built society, man created society. तो society and man का relationship is a very indispensable one. You cannot separate them. इनको separate कर दिया तो there will be no society and there will be no man, because man is a social animal, right? It will only survive till the time it survives together, right? But there were two very important theories that was proposed जो relationship of man and society को define करने की कोशिश करती हैं. The first one is the social contract theory by Hobbes and Locke. So now just try to understand, these are European like thinkers, philosophers of like ancient times, right? When there was like glorious revolution, European civil war was going on at that time. These Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, they were the thinkers at that time. So basically what they tried to say is, when Hobbes were there na, when Hobbes was there, तो उस टाइम पे ना there was a civil war going on, and when Locke was there, there was the glorious revolution going on. Basically the thing is, today you see Europe to be very very developed nation, but वो develop कैसे हुआ? It also went through its history ना, a history which was very very bloody, a history which was very very like जिसमें बहुत crimes हुए, all kind of ruthless activities took place. So it was not like they were always this developed, this enlightened. It was not like that. The history, every place is the same, right? It's bloody, it's a lot of violence, a lot of hate. So that way, ये उस टाइम पे थे जब सोसाइटी वाज इन एन एनार्की, जब इट वाज रिलीजन का या क्रिश्चियनिटी का बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस होता था लोगों पे, तो लोग कुछ साइंटिफिकली बात नहीं कर सकते थे बिकॉज रिलीजन वाज ऑल डोमिनेटिंग. सो दैट टाइम दे गेव देयर थ्योरी दैट कि सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होना चाहिए. दैट मीन्स दे मस्ट people must come together and form a society where there are civil liberties, rights, people are secure, not to a point ki they have ultimate freedom, but they have liberty to do whatever, but with restraints, right? That means ki for example कोई भी किसी का मर्डर नहीं कर सकता like that, because अगर सब एक दूसरे का मर्डर करने लगेंगे then that will become कि फ्रीडम तो है बट सिक्योरिटी नहीं है ना. तो सिक्योरिटी के लिए कुछ ऐसे सिविल राइट्स, कुछ ऐसे फंडामेंटल राइट्स की ज़रूरत थी जो सबको अवेलेबल हो फ्रीली फॉर ऑल. दैट मीन्स राइट्स विद सर्टन रीजनेबल रिस्ट्रिक्शंस, राइट? सो ऐसे करके दे प्रपोज दैट मैन मस्ट हैव कम टुगेदर, they must have come into a contract with each other. That means they must have created a contract to where they would come together as a society with certain rights, with certain liberties, freedoms for its people, but then there will be certain restrictions, certain rights, freedoms they will give away for security, right? To live in harmony, to live in peace. So that was the social contract theory. The second was the organic theory, which was given by Plato and Herbert Spencer, right? Herbert Spencer was a sociologist. So Herbert Spencer ने बोला कि he tried to do a metaphoric comparison of society with a human body. For example, he said कि like human bodies have organs which are made up of different tissues, cells, and those organs together make up a human. Similarly, societies are made. Societies are made by man. Man together creates different institutions. These institutions acts as limbs to the society, right? Like man is the basic unit of a society, which in turn creates institutions which are the limbs of the society, like we have limbs of the human. So that is how he tried to metaphorically draw a comparison between human body and society. So he said like a body cannot work without its essential vital organs, limbs. Similarly, a society cannot work without its institutions, which is in turn made with man as the basic unit, right? So this is how they tried to create a relationship of man and society. These were the 2 point of views, right? So now the last thing, comparison of culture and society. So now we yesterday did culture, today we studied about briefly what a society is all about. We talked, if I quote the E.B. Taylor's definition again, culture, we said it was a complex of ideas, knowledge, values, morals, ethics, any other thing acquired by a man as a member of the society. Any other thing acquired by a man as the member of the society, right? Then society, we said, if I take the structural definition of it, it is a web of social relationship. It is something which is organized association of men which interact with each other, has established a standardized behavior, right? That means somewhere down the line we can see these terms were used exchangeably. there was no definition that could define each other differently. So these terms were you know taken as synonymous to each other till 18th 19th century. After that, a clear cut understanding थोड़ा सा देखा गया कि no, these terms are different to each other. And उसके बाद ऐसा ढूंढा कि what is the difference. The difference lies very deeply और बहुत minute सा difference है. For example, मैं ये लगा लूँ, ये society है. This is a society, right? Society of people, men, various institutions, then various that in turns makes a society. So if this is the structural, the heart and soul of this society would be culture. Why? Because yesterday also we did that culture is very internal, culture is very ideational. That means it's based on ideals, morals, which is very internal, that is very value driven, right? It's a value driven thing. Whereas a society is a very, you can define it in the structural sense also. It is a collection of people who are dependent on each other, but they are driven by certain values, and those values, those knowledge, those things are somewhere culture, right? So you can't say kaun si cheez badi hai, but definitely they are overlapping. They are overlapping, they are interdependent, they are interwoven. You cannot take one out of the other. So hence you can say that culture and society has a very intricate relationship, which is very, very dependent on each other, right? If society is the structure, then culture is its soul, right? So this is how you can just compare things. If you have the understanding, I think you can do it on your own. The answers are always very, very subjective, so do not worry and hesitate if you write something which is out of the box, or you think many other people will not write, because that is your perspective and how you perceive things. So it is never right or wrong, it is always about how you defend your perspective, right? So with this we have completed today's lecture. Please like, share and subscribe, guys. Please, any doubts, any suggestions, post in the comment section below. Do not hesitate to communicate, and like, share and subscribe, guys. Tomorrow we'll complete this lecture. Thank you.